So if I'm educated to the level of being a lawyer and then I still hold those stereotypes that I cannot sue the Kabaka, yet the law says people are equal before the law, then I think my father would have wasted his fees.
So you're actually fulfilling why your father actually paid the school fees?
Yes. For me to be a different person.
Okay.
To be a person who can stand.
And now at this time you are back at it.
At a different angle.
Challenging one of the somebody who is a presidential hopeful.
Yes, which
Robert
is
Kyagulanyi. What informed your decision?
You see, I haven't read Odoki's book. Philip Odoki headed the Constitutional Commission, which conducted reviews, not Philip, Benjamin, which conducted Ugandans' view throughout Uganda, what they thought could be the Ugandans' constitution. Now, there were unanimous issues. He wrote in his book, says, now, on these ones, people were unanimous. When they went to Masaka, they went to Guru, they
all spoke out at the same time.
They spoke at the same time.
That related things.
A president who has two main qualities. One, well educated. Actually, he uses the word highly educated. Two, with a high level of integrity. Those are the two elements people wanted in a president. Of course, after suffering from the problems of Amin, how we came here. So they said the president should be highly educated and must have integrity. Now, that is what formed our constitution as it is. Article 80 and Article 102 right now. When they say, first of all, a president or a member of parliament, first of all, a president must have qualifications of a member of parliament. So a member of parliament must have an A level, must have completed. They want someone who is above the orderly level, someone who is able to assess, to analyze, to discuss, to analyze. So you don't qualify. When you're a convict of dishonesty, 7 years before an election day, you don't do what?
Qualify.
Now that is the integrity part. Not only education, because many educated people don't have integrity. So now, when you come and say want to rule us at a presidential level, we need to take you have. When you look at our constitution under Article 98 and 99, the president is the chief executive. He's a commander-in-chief, fountain of honor. So question is, if you're looking for a fountain of honor, do you just look around and say, but this one, they were clapping that Asians are going. And they asked a lady on Kappa Road, they asked him, but the economy is going to die. He said, let the economy die.
What are you finding so far?
So far, you see, I started this process legally. I wanted us to go slowly, but surely, and to get something which is not, they call it, which is not Wolokoso, to get something which is certified copies, with copies which were presented by Kyagulanyi at nomination. I was doubting Kyagulanyi's ability to comprehend issues. You have been just reading it. Then the electoral commission responded, says, pay the money. I paid the money. And
how much was it?
It was 20.
For a search?
Not a search, getting copies.
Copies.
Because I requested for copies. Now, after payment, they gave me the documents. Now, the documents were shocking. Of course, after time. You said, now, you want to rule us. Whom you got when you are a person.
And he still calls himself a young man.
Yes, he says he's fighting for the youth. But then at the end of the day, when the documents came out, it was so clear that there is an inconsistency in the date of birth, because Makerere University transcript showed that the guy was born in 1980. Yet for him, he says he was born in 1980. These other ones of getting a 9 in math or failing GP, those are issues. They're just... I mean, if you're not serious to pass math at all level, how do you tell us that you are going to be serious to manage the economy?
But now when you
have other people to manage for you. For example, you'll have a governor of Bank of Uganda.
Who when you start the actual purpose of the
you have a minister who in charge of finance. You have a minister in charge of education.
When you have that, then you are conceding.
And look at the fact that Malema Birizi, the man actually behind this petition and behind, of course, moving down to read out whatever is happening behind Kyagulanyi. We have seen the country of Uganda, yes, that we have actually grown up in, we're born in, and we are still in, and we're not planning to leave, being led by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And President Yoweri Museveni has actually moved a mile to have one of the better strategies. I would say one of the best strategies in East Africa when it comes to actually COVID by then. But he has been using experts. Are you getting it? But he has never done any medical field. Are you getting it? Now, how would you actually use that to demystify the fact that Kyagulanyi would also hire economists?
And the president has constantly said that I'll first consult scientists. Even tonight, he's going to consult the task force that he put in place for an informed decision.
People are dying every day. The numbers are releasing him, but that's one. Two, even if you ask experts or a science student, you must have that general knowledge of how to analyze community issues. That's where I look at unemployment.
Have you weighed actually based on your side look that Bob Wine
or the GP? Now, how will he apprehend these general issues? Actually, if you went for GP, you know what is in GP.
Do you want to tell me that everyone who fails an exam means it
comprehend math?
But at the end of the day,
that actually you're using them when they teach you vectors. You use them when you are cutting jam. You see when I pass here.
I'll get back to the basics. I want us to get back to the basics on education.
What I'm telling you,
practically in life,
this paper like Isaac Timukako. Election.
But we have seen reshuffles even in Museveni's government.
He has woken up in the night and said, it happens.
What confidence I was saying? Singing Ichalenga.
He has succeeded in life.
No, they actually,
what he has actually, none of us
that
has.
Is what Ugandans discussed in making their constitution. They never told the presidential. I'm telling you, I'm disputing these papers. These papers are, to me, they are now fake papers.
So I would like to first ask you, what determines this?
Now there are many issues surrounding these papers. First of all, there are 3 different names. At every level of education, there are 3 different single S. At university, we have Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert.
As Kyagulanyi's picture, how do you begin?
This is a picture of a mature man actually when he's even putting on suits. But the photos used at Makere were the real photos when you are admitted. This is the Kyagulanyi of today.
But I'm back and ask you one question. Have you just seen kids who don't sit actually, okay, who don't go through P4 and they carry them straight to P7? Have you? I have seen kids.
It is from 1 to 2. Now, what I was skipping.
Maybe I have seen kids picked from actually P4 and being taken to P7 and they sit for papers and even pass for one and those who have been actually. No, let me give you this. Someone can join senior 5 today. And they see that the grade is sharp and they're like, can we have him sit for the exams with these people?
Did you go to
easy? Do you know that some
anyway, your name shall tell us, shall give, the law says you must have completed minimum advanced level standard education.
But Mabirizi is still based on that. I have seen people join a class and they deny them chance. Actually, a teacher just looked and said, I think this person should just go direct and join the next class. And look at the subjects
at A level.
At any class, yes.
That is propaganda, fake propaganda.
It's not.
That is the propaganda.
Actually, it's even parents who demand. Actually, I've started to go. Actually, parents demand. Me, I want to finish up the issue of school fees. I
guess maybe you shall verify. But what I can tell you, if you study A level for 1 year, you don't qualify for a certificate because you have not completed. And if it was issued, then it has to be revoked.
It's not of guilt.
No, he has a right to keep quiet. But I wonder how people keep on manufacturing stories for him. When you said that this man, now papers came when the man was born in 1980, then they kept quiet. Now they brought other stories. Actually, I know more papers may even come when the man was born in 1977 or 78, because the man keeps on changing everywhere. He camouflages.
One is asking,
yes,
why Robert Kyagulanyi?
You are the one asking.
And yet,
why him now?
I've always been.
And he has not come out to challenge even the president.
But the point is, once you allow someone to grab to enter into power, then things become complicated, especially in Africa.
So that's why
I'm waiting for him at the end. He's put on me at the entry. They don't first allow me to enter for nomination.
But there are other presidential issues
that
we have seen to Mukunde.
I've been giving people example that when they are testing for COVID-19, they don't test every person moving because the cost of testing is so high. So they test people who have shown symptoms. If you are coughing, you are fever.
So you're saying Bob Wine should a symptom? Can the committee test?
On the record, I remember when Kyagulanyi was arrested.
Threat of what? The credentials of their leader is under attack. This of us will remain. So all those things don't work. Claiming you shall attack Mabidi, it doesn't work. You may come and attack me and then you go back when you are you.
And actually basing. Most of them actually according to the way they're stereotyping out there, they're saying you're being used.
Full pickup.
With a full pickup?
Yes.
What are you telling in
to which judgment is on 30th September. I've sued this regime several times. Now, how come it was using me?
In a systematic way to look at
those are signs of weak people. Weak people think that people cannot do things they cannot do. That's their problem. Just like I started with weeks repeated, but we got first grades. Now they told us that getting 25 points is something hard, you must have repeated. Every time they go to Kawempe, I never repeated, they got 25. So
they're also moving back to query your papers for senior 4. They're actually coming out to say, Mabirizi failed in senior 4. Does it? They call it failing because they said you never lived up to standard.
Fake propaganda.
They said actually the something was shown me. They said you never performed well in 4 level. And you performed well in
bring results of Kasubi secondary. I never said it Kasubi secondary. My name is not Hakim. So they say they wrote a name Mabirizi Malik Hakim. I'm not Hakim. I studied at High School Natete. I scored 8 aggregates in best 6.
You're not a Muslim?
Let's not discuss religion. Let's discuss.
Hakim.
No. Hakim. My other names is Hassan. For me, I gave them the subjects and the scores. Why didn't they produce something like this, where there are subjects and scores? So let's pray propaganda.
Maybe they're still also doing actually research the way you went to the commission.
Let them write to anybody who has my results. Other than manufacturing their own. They are going to speak a lot of things against me, but that will not prevent us from searching for truth. Because Nkrumah then says nominate me.
Are you trying to say that? Are you still standing so strong on the angle that this is directly the song that Bobwen sang? I would like to say that to all the viewers are catching us here in the studios, we have the man himself, Malem Mabirizi. Of course, they call him now a controversial lawyer because he has never accepted to dance to the tune of those who want him to dance that tune. He's a man who has actually challenged the government many times, challenged the president many times, challenged those whom he feels when he sleeps at night and he dreams that then he wants to challenge you. The following morning he starts pursuing you. He is the newest party, but it's that old party that was actually revived by a young man who believes is the right candidate to take Uganda. And the young people talk with the paper. He says he's not willing to argue with anyone who doesn't have papers. And he says, produce a paper. For him, he's moving with Uganda on Twitter. At the same time, you can actually follow us on our direct different decoders. That is Record TV and session coming. Would you have a question for Mabirizi today? Feel free in this next quarter of course, the discussion. We'll be giving you a chance to call in and share with us, of course, your take in relationship to the
Prosper, please go and get me some airtime from the shop.
Some money when you need it. Stay safe with MTN Momo.
Business naye tetambula. Oba oyagala kutandika naye ofunye okubuulirire. Mwe tukuleetera abakugu okuva mu bitongole eby'enjawulo nga URA ne bakusomesa enzirukanya ya business. Tugisubwa wano ku Record TV.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still watching the Daybreaker Show. My name is Isaac Oluborakonya, alongside, of course, my usual senior analyst, Paul Matovo. And of course, today in the studio, we're so much delighted to have the man himself, the most controversial. I'm now adding the word most because others have been calling the controversial, but I'm now adding the most controversial lawyer in the history of this country. We've had lawyers, but there's something about this gentleman. If he sleeps, I think the difference between him and Amin went to school. Amin never went to school. For him, he went to school. But even Amin could sleep and say, but I dreamt yesterday like you're among the Bodo and the government, and I think you should actually go and meet God. Now, for him, when he sleeps and he dreams, like he doubts your credentials, the following day, he will not just sit there. He will go to UNEB, he will go to Electoral Commission, and he will use paper to call for paper, and he will ask the public to actually use paper to defend paper. Mabirizi, still on the issue of this battle that is on the ground.
Before that, I didn't want you to liken me to Amin. That they think it's a matter of sleeping and saying maybe this one, let me wake up and no, these are serious matters where we need good analysis of a person.
Do you sometimes consult before actually you take a decision to go to pursue such a thing?
Of course I do. Of course I mind about what to be done, because some of these things are very serious. They have serious implications. They have implications on the entire country. So before you move on someone or before you move on something, you must be sure.
As a practicing lawyer,
I am not a practicing lawyer.
You're not a practicing lawyer, but okay, I'm
a lawyer by training.
Yeah.
I trained as a lawyer.
Okay, when you look at how courts operate, in case your petition actually doesn't work out, do they put any charge on you, or it remains as a story that has gone?
You see, litigation is like business. When you start business, you either make profits or make loss. Actually, you have to make or even be eaten. So don't people do business?
They do.
So everything is risky. But point is, you must start. Here,
let the business begin.
Yes, just like the business begin. Some succeed, others don't succeed. But point is, you must bring out your point clearly, whether in a court of law, whether before electoral commission, because Chagulanyi's matter is not a purely court matter. It may end up in electoral commission, because I'm telling electoral commission, this man is not educated.
I want to still get back to the question you asked at the beginning. You asked Mabirizi, what really pinched your heart to think about? Okay, I think I'm not satisfied with that question.
It doesn't even seem to be resting enough, because we've seen Kabaka's case, then in the middle there, Chagulanyi now, age limit.
So you want
you are in books scratching.
I just imagine if someone is a soldier, you want him to sleep at his home when the country has been invaded? Of course, fighters don't sleep. Unless when the country is at peace. But when you're in a country where there is no rule of law, where everybody thinks that if I'm strong enough, I can do whatever I want. You see, that's what I have been telling me, that Chagulanyi has many supporters. They may hunt for you.
Yes.
No, that cannot threaten us. Actually, that's what I was telling you. The reason why we went to school is to be different. Now, if we, the educated people, are threatened to say someone seeming not to be educated, then are you giving hope to the entire population? Are you giving hope to your son who is watching this TV now, that education helps, that education makes you bold, that education makes you courageous? When you will be teaching him about what is a good leader, will you be making sense? When they say, you see, we fear Chagulanyi, they will abuse us, he has many supporters, then the country will be taken over by rogues.
Still, it gets back to our basic, actually. We said, irrespective of that, why Chagulanyi, why not President Museveni? You said you actually challenged him actually somewhere else, where you demanded for his people to be brought. But at the end of the day, you actually conclude by saying, but you know, when someone becomes president, things become complicated.
Yes.
Does it mean that at a certain point, that some people actually you will look at as underdogs, and that those you know that you can actually run to again and again?
No. I asked for those papers. And Rwakojo replied to me, told me, you got the issuing authority. Ask Rwakojo. I cannot start in the issuing authority unless I have the copies.
Why didn't you evoke the Lord at that time?
Actually, I found
access to it
because I wanted the case to proceed so quick as possible. So I said, now, let's work the case. But I was telling them.
Had you foreseen that they would actually delay it past it?
So that application would take us into almost six months. So I said, now, let me withdraw this. But the point, I tell the man, that's the point. So that's why at nomination, before nomination,
Chigwerawa, you are checking.
All I need is this man.
Received this paper.
All I need is this man to be blocked from the ballot paper. Because to me, the papers I now have, of course, I'm going